Hello everybody, I'm John. This is JP Strategic Investments, and today we're going to talk about what happens if you let an option expire in the money. And more specifically, what actually happens if you let an option expire in the money, but you don't actually have enough cash or shares in your account to cover the exercise of that option. So if this has happened to you, don't freak out just yet. There are a lot of things that can actually be done, and usually you can work these things out with your brokerage without actually having to pay any extra fees or things like that. So let's get right into it here. The first thing that I want to talk about is if you've sold an option and it expired in the money. Now, if you've sold an option and it does expire in the money, there's really not a lot you can do to stop the assignment of that option or the exercise of that option. Whereas if you actually bought the option, there are a few things that you can do that we'll get into in just a second. So if you've sold an option, let's say you sold a put option, you will be assigned to buy 100 shares per contract that you sold at the strike price that you sold those options if it expires in the money. If you sold call options, you will be required or you will be assigned to sell those shares at the price at which you sold the call option, even if you don't actually have those shares in your account. This means that if you don't have enough cash in your account to cover the put option that you sold, or you don't have enough shares or cash in your account to cover the exercise of the call option that you had sold, you're probably going to end up with a negative cash balance in your account sometime over the weekend, probably by Sunday or Monday morning, and you'll probably get an email from your brokerage explaining the situation and telling you what you need to do. Now, if this is the first time that this has happened to you, most likely your brokerage is just going to give you a warning, and what they'll do is they'll tell you you need to remedy the situation as soon as possible. So if you had sold a put option, what most likely happened is the brokerage used their own money to go out and purchase those shares. And now you have those shares in your account, and they're going to tell you you either need to deposit enough money to cover that as soon as possible, or you need to just get rid of those shares, sell those shares, and deposit enough money to cover any discrepancies depending on where the stock opened or moved on Monday, because obviously it's different from where it was or where it closed at on Friday. If this was a call option that you had sold, what the brokerage likely did is they went out again with their own money, purchased enough shares to cover those options that you had sold, and then sold them to the owner of that option who was exercising that option at the price that you had sold the call options at. And what they're going to do then is subtract from your account the difference in where they bought the shares and where they had to sell the shares, because if that option is in the money, they had to sell those shares at a loss. And so they're going to subtract that loss from your account. Now, if you don't have enough money in your account to cover that loss, then you will actually end up with a negative cash balance in your account, and you will owe them that money as soon as possible. And if you aren't able to get them that money, then there could be repercussions after that. But if you are, you just deposit that money into your account and you've remedied the situation. So that's kind of how it works if you had sold an option. Now, usually the difference that you're paying, the price that you have to pay, really isn't a lot. And if it's your first time, there's no repercussions from your brokerage. Where the risk can happen, though, is if that stock closed on Friday at one price and opened on Monday, the next trading day, at a drastically different price. Say the stock shoots up and you had sold the call, right? Or if it shoots way down and you had sold the put, then there could be a big difference there because of those 100 shares that you're actually going to be exercising, and you could end up owing a decent amount of money. Now, you could get lucky on the flip side, and let's say you had sold the put, you had to buy those 100 shares. On Monday, the stock opens way up, and you get to sell those shares back to the brokerage at a profit. So that could happen, you could get lucky, but again, it's best to just really remedy the situation as soon as possible, get the brokerage the shares they need or the money they need as soon as possible, and then you can get this whole thing behind you. Now, on the flip side, let's say you bought an option, right? You bought a call option, you bought a put option, and it expired in the money. There is one thing that you can do in this case to avoid even getting to the point where the option is exercised, shares have to change hands, and you have to worry about remedying the situation by depositing enough into your account or things like that. What you can do within 1 hour of the close of that trading day, if you contact your brokerage, you can let them know, hey, I would not like to exercise this option. So let's say you bought a call option, that option expires in the money, and now you have the opportunity to exercise that option and purchase those 100 shares, but you don't have enough money in your account to actually purchase those shares, go through the process. Maybe you don't even want to hold them over the weekend to see what happens on Monday. Within 1 hour of market close, you can contact your brokerage and say, I would not like to exercise that option. Now, you are going to take a little bit of a loss here because wherever that strike price is, the difference between that strike price and how far that option is in the money, that was your profit. And by saying you're not going to exercise that option, you are leaving that profit on the table, and that will be subtracted from what your account shows at the close of that day. Because at the close of that day, basically your brokerage is assuming you're going to exercise that option, this will be your profit. Since you're saying I will not exercise that option, you're basically surrendering your right to do so, then you're leaving that profit on the table, you're basically letting it go. So you will take a small loss here. Same thing on the flip side with buying the put option. Whatever that difference is, you're going to take that loss from where your account was at market close on Friday when that option expires. So there is the advantage, though, that you're not actually going through the process because you don't have the money in your account to purchase those shares. And again, if this has already happened to you, hopefully this is the first time that's happened to you and you're watching this video, but if this has already happened to you, you definitely want to make sure you do that, or there could be repercussions with your brokerage. If this is kind of your second offense here, they might actually not let you trade with them. There could be a variety of consequences depending on your brokerage. So you definitely want to make sure, if at all possible, that within 1 hour of the close of trading of that trading day, you take care of this. You call your brokerage, contact them, and say, hey, I would not like to exercise these options, and then you won't have to worry about whatever consequences come from that trade going through and worrying about remedying the situation. Even if this is your first time, most of the time it's just better to do that. But again, be the judge of this yourself. Do your research, definitely check that out. But usually it's better to just call your brokerage and just tell them you would not like to exercise those options. Now, if you don't have that opportunity, if you forget, whatever, basically you're in the same boat as what I described when you sell an option. Those shares are going to be automatically purchased for you or automatically sold for you. The brokerage is going to contact you, send you an email saying, hey, this is what happened, this is what you owe us, and you're going to have to take care of it. And if it's your second time or third time doing this, there are going to be consequences probably from your brokerage. If it's your first time doing this, most likely you'll just kind of get a warning from them. And as long as you settle whatever debts you have with them, you'll be good to go and you can continue trading from there. So I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have any comments, questions, let me know in the comments below. And if you did find this helpful, don't forget to hit that like button. Other than that, I will see you guys next time and have a great day.